First at deliveries are in for the week.
Sorry, I'm freaking fuming. I'll try and tone it down. Gonna try something new on the channel this week for my Nishikigoi Journal, so the vlog type videos. There's a hell of a lot going on, but not necessarily enough every day to film and make separate episodes. So what I'm gonna do is still film and record every day, little bit segments, but we're gonna make this one bumper episode encompassing the whole week and see where we get. We'll give it a shot, see how it goes down. The analytics will tell me everything as well, and if it's worthwhile actually covering that as a format, because there's plenty else going on the channel anyway, to make sure you've got new and fresh content throughout the week, which I'm always conscious of. A few of you have pointed out, don't seem to take more than a couple of days before you start getting withdrawals. Unbelievable. So yeah, this week is a big one for developments here on the farm. Last week I got a shitload of all my selections and stuff done, to the point where actually, as far as I can think, there's no more of that to do. So you can see on the channel we did the Nishikigoi golden corn, they're both on separate videos. I think that's part 3 of their grow out series. But the building I'm in, the roof, the stuff's due to be arriving. Hopefully that's going to go on this week. I've had a big delivery from Evolution Aqua, all the stuff to get all the new showers running. I've also got some new, I say new media, it's not. I've decided to try a new media in there on those, after doing quite a bit of looking into it, research. It's got me interested, and I think well worthwhile. So stay tuned for that bit. We'll hopefully get that done this week. Part of the Evolution Aqua delivery as well is that in that building I'm planning on putting a new centralized aeration system and what's the word now, water system in there as well. Then in the first greenhouse, I'm not sure if it'll get done this week, but the air pump should be arriving. I'm actually going to be putting an independent air pump on each of those, just to add some additional current and flow into there and help more with degassing as opposed to actually aerating. I think there might be some other stuff along the way there, but who knows. Certainly going to be a bumper pack one this. Let's see how the week does.
First at deliveries are in for the week. Turns out sheeting might not be going on this week. It's my uncle doing it, and I think he's got other ideas. However, it's here, ready and waiting, exciting stuff. And then my EA delivery, I've got some vari pumps which I'm using on the showers. For now I've got that one big beast of an Oase pump I still haven't used. It's going to be going on one. Part of my pipe work, that's all the 1-inch stuff for my water and air system, and there's a load of gibbons should be in those couple of boxes. I've got no idea what we've got in here. Oh, that's all for the roof. And then boxes for what is I'm currently working on. I have a shipment, an export going to Barbados this evening, a wholesale one. So I'm going to get the lads prepping all those boxes up and packaging material. It's going to be late night packing on that one.
Just so happens that the sun has decided to absolutely start beaming, which I'm a bit frustrated about for this shipment, because it's just hot at all ends of it. Got ice packs, however, I'm going to take great caution. So what I'm going to be doing is trying to lower temps, because in here where part of the fish are, it's too warm for where I want to be packing them. So obviously we use fresh packing water. They've been heavily starved now for a week prior to all this. So they're being collected at 11 PM this evening to get there just in time for the flight. Don't want any kind of lingering around or anything like that. But I'll show you now. Look, I've emptied a pond out here that's due for some repair work. So I'm actually going to start doing in a moment, or actually later, a little bit later in the afternoon, is filling this. Jacob cleaned it out the other day
I'm going to be filling this with fresh water, not to use for packing, that just when I've packed the fish, I'm going to pack them probably like an hour before they're due to be collected, and leave them floating on this cooler water to really cool the bags down prior to actually packing them into the box with the ice pack. No other way around doing that at the moment. Obviously don't want them in the bag too long, so that is the most ideal way of getting that done.
In reality, the total transportation time is probably not actually going to be much more than what there will be on overnight here, but we are dealing with hot and even hotter when they get there, which is frustrating. And because of export costs, packing quantities are a lot higher. One box I've actually took precautions with and dropped a little quantity of fish out of, just to give us a bit of capacity to spread things out a little bit. Then when I've finished my bit of prep for that, I'm going to do a little maintenance job that's going to be quite interesting.
So this here Nexus that I've had running now for, crikey, I think it's got to be about 15 years. It's had very little ever done to it. You'll see we're not bubbling at the moment because that's all gone to shit. This whole pipework needs replacing, and in that delivery is all this stuff. So we're actually, and it's never been done before, I check in here quite often to see how it's doing, but I've never actually drained this outer chamber off at all in all the time that I've had it. So we're going to be doing that later, getting down to the air diffuser. We'll actually see what state it's in, and then just renewing this line. And then this air pump, it's always been a shit setup on here, but I've just never bothered to change it. It's split off with a Y down there. Look, that same pump runs the pond, which is going too heavily at the minute because I've not got it in there. And it's generally controlled by the flow that goes into the fluid bed from there. I'm actually going to split that and put a double valve set to regulate what goes there and what goes this way as well, which will be nice. I might even look to relocate that, see if we can knock a bit of a shelf up or something. Right, let's get this baby drained. Dump both. There we go. Gonna take it a while. No early signs of any, honestly, and when I say we've not even emptied it, I'm not even sure I've ever used that valve, other than when I first got it, just for shits and giggles. It will be interesting. I should probably also go and check the parts are in the bag, but this is what I do often do, look. It looks pretty spotless at bottom of there to me, as it should do. Here we go, look, everything in there, all the ends for the valves, loads of new valves, clips, elbows. I've got quite a few jobs to do with these, so I ordered quite a bit. LPD tube, because I also need to make the diffuser, which I'm going to do ASAP to get that fluid bed operational. The missing piece for that right now. Firstly, I'm just going to get, obviously this stuff keeps absolutely fine, look. It's just everything that's exposed outside. However, I'm going to renew that T, probably that elbow, the whole lot. So while it's getting drained off, a whole new piece in there as well. Still looking good. You can really see it now, look. Check around the other side in a minute. And there is just, this is the one where I've still got just the standard 50 litres of media. Looks like we might have a bit of settlement around there. Well, that's a lot of years with no maintenance for a tiny bit of dust in bottom of that.
the whole concept of that fluid bed in that Nexus is that the fluid bed itself obviously constantly knocks that waste back into circulation. It's actually a design error I made with my filter design that I'm going to fix in the next one, because there was no need for that grid at the bottom. I actually want the K1 to be able to go down to the bottom and contact and push anything down that might be settling. But that's pretty impressive, really. It genuinely just hasn't been touched, because as far as I'm aware, the system itself is exactly how it should be. I know I've seen some horror stories out there. I'm not quite sure how that's ever happened, but that's done remarkably well. I think it's fair to say that was due for changing. It just fell out. Can't even get this bit apart. I think we'll go from down there at the bottom in a minute. But yeah, they're well shot. So where I've got to, this is actually the proper diffuser out of the bottom. You can see this is actually growth on the outside of the tube. When I see down, that's not too bad, look. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a flush through, clear out them holes. I can't be arsed with redoing a new one of those, but you see it just clamps in at the bottom there. So that T was completely shot, look, again. So yes, complete renewal. Suppose I just need to get down here. I'm not looking forward to that one. In fact, given that that is all intact, I might leave that one, because if that goes wrong, that's going to annoy me, and that's an easy one to do at any point, to be honest. So I have got that perfectly cleaned out, all that build up inside with a bit of bashing and flushing through. New T in, so I'll clip that back in a minute. I'm just going to cut my piece up to this first valve. Here we go, that's first lot all in. Wow, feeling different at new tube compared to what I've got, blooming egg. Nice shiny new valve, all in, T in. So I've got the new piece here ready for however I build that out. So I just need to put the piece in now from the Easy and a new valve there. Superb, and we're in. Two nice shiny new valves. Cleaned out diffuser, face it upright, very, very important. And we're going to be talking more about this when it comes to doing the one for my filter fluid bed over there. So now I just need to make my little T, sort that bit out, and jobs are good in. For now, I'm going to let that start filling back up. That was actually clean just before this, and no, I ain't one of these that scrubs the outer of my Nexus down. There's a load of snail growth and shit on there. It's the shit I want out. I'm not bothered about a bit of something growing on the sides, that is for sure. Right, I'm all done. Took a bit of bodging because some of the other bits and bobs didn't quite fit from the normal 8mm hose line down there. But anyway, I've got hooked in. I've now got full control into that pond. That is running a treat. The actual difference in that, let me tell you, is ridiculous. But I was getting a lot of leakage out through all these bits and bobs as well, which obviously I'm not anymore, which is superb. It's also going to benefit the cleaning. I did leave that. I attempted to put my hand down there and I was not feeling the love. So that will wait for sure. But yeah, very happy with that. Probably just at some point, I don't know what, that air pump can stay there for now. Again, there's enough to be doing. We might just stick a clamp there, but again, I just don't mither about shit like that. It's this performance, and that is superb. So now all I need to do is I can regulate the flow into there. Obviously that will give me my flow into there. The leakage really must have been horrendous, because honestly what I'm getting here right now is nuts in comparison. Obviously maybe with a few of the holes blocked up, happy days. And the main reason for that valve there, because like I say, ultimately what I'm more concerned about is getting my optimal flow, making sure I've got no dead spots in here, which as you see I haven't. It's running very well. So whenever that's throttled down, which it is, it's going to push the rest of the air that way.
but just in case I'm not happy with that flow or I want a bit less, it gives me the option to throttle that, which will then ultimately push a bit more back this way as well. Happy days. What I'm also going to do is, because I've got a load of it in the shed, is stick another 50 litres of K Plus media. I'm going to open that up, pop that straight in. Yes, straight in. No PP, none of the rest of it. PP does not help this shit sink. This one as well, that's got the minerals impregnated in it. What will help this sink, and actually with PP, that's the myth. It's not actually the potassium, it's the manganese dioxide, the heavy load of organic shit afterwards getting into the media to help be the basis of biofilm development. There's a lot of obviously stuff passing through here anyway, so that's just going to go straight in. Obviously there's up to 200 litres of capacity, there's only the 50, so today with that I'm going to be doubling the bio capacity in this pond, which is awesome. Not much difference in colour there. There you can see the difference, look, between some mature K1 and now the K Plus, literally side by side. You can see it's got a completely different interior make, but again, I mean, stood the test of time, this stuff, it really has. There it is, 50 litres in. You can see it trying to bubble away, look. Hopefully the motion of the other one underneath will help keep just pulling that down, but it just needs to get the middle, the interior part has its own kind of protected water retention, which is obviously what makes it special. That's not there right now, so that water kind of has to get in to get it to start sinking. So we'll see over the course of this week how quickly that happens without prattling around with PP. Just to end today, it is 10 past 10 or 5 past 10. I've got a chunk of the boxes packed. You can see here, freshly prepared water, all fully dechlorinated, salted. I've done one batch. You can see Jacob's still just finishing boxes. Driver's going to be here about 11 to 11:30 because we've got to have him to the airport by 3:30. You can see what I've done here because it's so hot today. I have prepared this pond. So we've got ice packs to pack with naturally, but I've prepared this pond to completely fresh water, cold out the tap as we've packed them. Sit them on here just to keep them as cool as possible and try and chill it down a little bit before they go into the bag with the ice pack, and then they're going to be in a temperature controlled setting on the plane anyway. Very, very important that with these kind of packing, there's 50 fish in each of them bags so far, so it is kind of Japan export level packing, and we need to take every precaution they're not too hot for too long.
Right, we're back for another day. Yesterday wasn't as productive as I hoped, but little by little we get there. I'm still waiting for some of my pipe turning up to get the showers commissioned. I don't even know if I mentioned that on my list of jobs. And as well as that, I'm hoping we get some, I'm going to modify the spray bars in one of the greenhouses because they're not actually all physically glued together. Just tedious little things every day when you're adjusting and doing. And they've got a rubber end cap that's got one of the clips on the end, and I hate it, especially when fish are aggressively feeding near there. So we're going to modify those up. But for now, that little pipe clip is for getting the diffuser done on the new filter. So I'm just about to get that stripped down. We'll have a look and see how it's doing. Get some of these in place, get the whole thing drilled, done, actually calculate how much media I can get in there as well, and share a load of information about it along the way.
So here's where we are right now. You can see the buoyancy of that is absolutely fantastic, that initial 50 litres, and there's loads of space in there. When I drain it off, I'll measure the chamber out and get the calculation done. Brushes are working very well for me. Just throwing a net in here for now to put the media in, keep it wet while we're doing this. Don't want to dry out what we've built up over the past few weeks. and then yeah, I'll start getting some clips in place. Right, so remembering that's been running for about 3 weeks now with no movement in there. You can see there's a tiny bit of sediment settlement there, and I will have a look in the baffles after, but from what I can see in the bottom there's a bit, but not a lot. Obviously I've pulled the valve a couple of times, but this is what won't happen when the K1's agitating for a start. And also one of the big changes I'm going to make in the next version is that I should have never have actually done that in the first place. All I need is some kind of internal baffle on the flush to stop the K1 from getting into it, and then actually remove that in its entirety. Put a few feet in the bottom to mount the pipe clips too, and bad boys for the diffuser. And then that's the ideal design, because what that's going to allow is the motion of the fluid bed to not let stuff settle. I've actually allowed it so that stuff can pass through and the K1 can't get to it. So I'm actually encouraging settlement with this should it ever occur. It's not likely that there'll be much, but it's worth it anyway. Plus obviously it's going to cut a lot of cost out removing that piece of material as well. So that's it. Didn't see that one to begin with. This is just the traditional way you think of penning it in, but no, completely unnecessary and actually hindered the efficiency of it.
Right, chamber's empty. First thing, little bit of dirt in the bottom. Now that's the first thing I want to speak to you about. It's a pond. You get dirt in these things. That little bit in there with the level of maintenance that's done on a regular basis, if it remained there for a prolonged period of time, wouldn't be a big issue. If, and this is when if, the bigger focus needs to be on the broader environment and the health of that broader environment. A big one you can tell with your filters is from smell, and this was actually taught to me by a leading bacteria company many years ago. We know this, aquarium keepers will know this. Healthy water has quite an earthy smell to it, almost like a soil type of thing. Anything else, fishy, your sort of pungent, sort of methane, gassy smells, all the rest. If you're at that point, you're in trouble, things are in the wrong place. But in an environment where, as I've emptied this filter, all I can smell is earthiness. That'll be coming, obviously I've got a mature bio, we had mature water, all the rest of it, but it's all I can smell. That bit of, and it's just mild little sediment in the bottom because we've got the incorrect flush valve on this as well, mind. But I just want to point that out. I see these, you know, so much sterile fish keeping these days, and I don't want to encourage you to let shit build up, because that's where multi-bay filters years ago, people not realizing you need to flush them, letting really heavy, deep sediment build up until it becomes sulfurous, just toxic. That is going to turn your water anaerobic very quickly. But in a healthy environment like this, a bit of sediment kicking around in your filter is going to do no harm whatsoever. I don't care who wants to throw shit at me for saying that. It's reality. I've got systems in there, you know, the big fluid beds, because of the way they're built. We probably go in there and actually strip them down once or twice a year. There's always shit in the bottom. Nothing too deep, nothing crazy, but it always smells incredibly earthy. It's a balanced environment. Just look at the mud ponds, guys. That mud is the filtration system of it all. But you can't just take that in isolation and go wild with it. You need balance. That whole statement needs to be balanced. This is a healthy environment. It's well cared for. You know, there's not huge amounts of it, but that tiny bit I see people obsess over is not going to be the cause of a bacterial problem or something like that. Just bear it in mind. You do what works for you ultimately, but honestly, I ain't got no beef with that whatsoever.
So now let's talk about the media. I've just calculated that the available space for media, so that being the bottom, there's 172 litres in here combined. Now the actual recommended amount of media is around 33% of the total volume, up to a maximum of 60%. Now you got to remember, the big key thing in all this is that you need to keep the media all bubbling very, very well.
So that gives me the option of going from around 57 to 104 litres of media. Obviously there's a big difference in there, and we all want to max out as much as we can. but I don't want to max out at compromise of getting any dead spots in this. That is very, very crucial in all this. The next thing we've got to do, and this is massive, is the air diffuser in the bottom. So I'm going to be making it out the LPD tube. I'm about to have a measure up. That for me is the best way. Now this information comes from teachings many years ago from Jasper at EA. Now that's a guy to listen to, it really is. And a recent conversation with him as well was just absolutely mind-blowing, just recapping on a few things. Now the big bit actually as well, and I'm not going to dive into all this now because I want to do a separate video at some point, but the big thing is out there, two massive things. Chambers, and I've seen this more with the rise of combi drum filters, using diffusers, big diffusers, fine bubble ones, anything like that. I'm seeing these chaotic, absolutely erupting fluid beds. It's damaging, it's doing harm. There's a protected surface area inside that media that develops, it's filled with a pocket of water to allow it to create its own retention within there for it to do its job. This chaotic, absolute mass eruption, imagine what it's doing. Not only is it potentially knocking and damaging delicate biofilm, it's knocking the water out of it constantly as well. I know that seems crazy, but you've got to think it's actually got its own retention within there. So Jasper taught me this many years ago, hence why all my other diffusers in my homemade fluid beds are all made from the LPD tube. It's all about the right size of hole, the right quantity of holes, and then the right size of air pump. We don't want to be putting too much air through these fluid beds. It can be damaging. We just want to get a nice steady bubble and no flat spots. So I'll continue to talk you through the bits I'm doing to begin with. Feel free to fire in any questions you've got, but I am planning to later go on a deep dive on the specifics more of this one. For now, let me show you the clip structure I'm going to go with. So I think, looking at this, I'm going to go with, I'm going to calculate, I've got the exact amount of holes that I need. That's how specific Jasper got me with this, the exact amount of holes I need to achieve. So I'll tell you what, we're going to start with that, because that might determine whether I need to go for 3 bars or I can just get away with 2. If I go with 3 bars, I'm probably going to use what we're looking at there, about 6 clips, all in all, something like that, 6 to 8 clips. Don't need to go wild with it, do I? Because it's not like it's holding up any weight. But we'll do that. So I've got the size of the holes, it's the quantity. So let's do that. I'm going to knock it up as well based on that and see where we get to. So here's design Mark 1. Now the specs I was given, very, very specific. 2.5mm holes, that's what I've used before. They're just marked at the minute, I need to drill them. 45mm apart, and a total of 20 holes. I've actually got 22. Now obviously the motion of K1, I'm not sure whether this is quite going to be long enough. You don't want it to be end to end. End to ends either way is a problem. So I've gone with that with calculations. We'll just see. I'm just a bit of trial and error, to be honest, see where it goes. I'm gonna say, really, I don't want to be clamping it in, do I? So I might just weight that down with a cable tie for a moment, get it filled up and see how it bubbles. Right, that is all drilled now, and just as I'm here pottering around with this amongst other things, I get a phone call. A phone call I really didn't want. That last night's shipment to Barbados never made it onto the plane. It's just sat in a fucking cargo warehouse somewhere. The level of incompetence is unbelievable, really is. There's going to have to be a full-blown investigation into this, because it's a fucking disgrace. Not only that, now all that labour work doubled up, then fish are going to have to come back here. They're going to have a period of resting again before we can reattempt it. Fucking insane. Right, frustrations aside, you might get an elevated number of F's and Jeffs in next bit, because I am freaking fuming. I'll try and tone it down. Anyway, all drilled, mounted in with the cable ties. Just going to snip them off, and then very, very temporarily get a airline run out to the air pump that I've got bodged in down here.
It's going to be very rough just to test it and see how we get on. Oh, look at that! Anyway, this air pump is way bigger. I think we've got a 130. So I've been told it needs a 75 to 80 maximum. So yeah, anyway, we will get a good test on the distribution from it. I am conscious we're just not quite wide enough there, but let's wait and see. Now, I would call that a resounding success. I'm still a little bit edgy about this. I've got it throttled right down in here. I mean, that's a good crank on that valve of what is, let me just double check this. Yeah, it's an AirTech 130. So I mean, slow it right down. I mean, air pump hates that, listen to that. It's just when we do that, look, which is probably even closer to the flow. I'm probably being overly pedantic here, but it's just how important that is, in my opinion, to get that. Is it starts just clumping a little bit here. So I don't know what to do. I think what I might do is just wait for now, because it's as good as there, and actually get the proper air pump on with the, it should be a maxed out flow, see what it does. Then obviously see what it does. There's clear to me, I can definitely, that's the 50 odd litres as per the quota. So I can definitely, I think, go at least, I'll say, what was it, up to 100 and something I said. There's probably a middle ground in there. I like to see how it actually performs with that amount of media, because I think it's quite clear there's capacity there. So let's see. So right now that is slowed right down. I think that'll be even a slowed down version on the AirTech 75 I've got to go on here. So let's wait and see. Definitely just a little bit I could probably do with extending there, but right now I've got enough shit to do. That's running enough. I can start making changes, because this unit in general in the end won't stay there. It'll probably get sold off when I've got one to replace it, because of all the changes I'm going to be making, including basically swapping the two ends around as well, to make the installation easier, and a few other small bits. So but yeah, that's good. And what it is, look, it's just not too ferocious. If I show you that now, that's just a nice steady bubble, no flat spots, doing well. If I then crank it up to full, it's absolutely erupting. Look, this is too much. Now it's too much. This is actually evenly distributed. What I see with these fluid beds, I've just got that one single diffuser smack bang in the center there. You erupt in that middle, you've got it less activity on these sides. Unless it's really erupting, then it does it end to end. It's not optimal for that environment. And even if you've got one of them, it might be worth turning the flow down. I think what you might find with them single diffusers, if you turn the flow down too much, you will get the real flat spots right towards your tank, depending how big it is. And it's fascinating just watching that bubble though. I've always been obsessed with that. Absolute sad act. So we're going to do some tinkering now, just to actually get the permanent bit kind of in place, so Matty can get that wired up for me. We can actually get that running, left running like that, and then really start to see what this pond can do with that going away. I'm also going to get some additional K1 prepped somewhere, so I don't put it in there straight away. I don't want to upset it, so it can have a week or two just to get its buoyancy before I add it into there. Now, realising that that is a 130, I think we only nicked 2 small airlines, look, off that on the centralised feed for about 5 ponds. So I seem to think that is not even close, being an EA as well with their pumping depth, not even close. So, with a magical bag of old shit fittings that you should never throw away, I think I can actually replumb that in properly and feed that system and that, valve it off and get it all running off of that one, given that I only need about 70 litre output. I think that leaves plenty of room for the rest of them. We'll give it a shot anyway. I tell you what, that was an ultra fast bodge. I wasn't going to do too much because of the new air system. I'm fitting and mounting somewhere along this building, not yet decided. But using my pack of old bits and bobs, we have got that done. Flow control into the fluid bed. I've got flow control feeding into that main ring. But ultimately, just everything that doesn't go that way forces round there. Happy days, and look at that. It's running a treat. The air is running pretty much as it was in there before. Delighted. So for now, all tested. We know it works. I can throw the lid back on that and make plans to get this proper aeration ring main installed. That's another bit done for today. Very, very happy with that. Little bits holding me back. I think I'm going to attempt to start getting the pipe work up to the centralised air and water system. Just having a walk through now. I've got some parts of a Pond 28 down the bottom down here but outside, having a completely new system on it I'm testing, which I'm not allowed to share till right at the end of it, but I can share bits of the pipe work along the way, so that needs to start with a big pump change. I think I might prioritise that next, in all honesty. For now, however, let's have a quick look through the greenhouses just while I do my last checks before we wrap up for the day. Some very happy lively corn from my selection the other day. Very special pond. The big stuff here is really, I mean, absolutely flying at the minute. So this is Nisai, big Nisai and Sansai growing through to Yonzai. There's some incredible fish in here, but they really are sticking it on, to say the least. This pond, been struggling with this a little bit. I've had it off food now for a few days. They're actually picking up. Although the feeding's not been that heavy as I thought. I was going to plan to sort of PP it just to clear the water out a little bit. Having seen the change now, there might be no need. I might just literally need to put them on a reduced feeding for a little while. And of course, as it is now, that water's getting very, very warm, which makes it harder to manage all the time. Another pretty cool pond, doing very well. That's again all Nisai that's been raised here, growing through to Sansai, doing exceptionally well. I've got some dreamy Otsuka Asagi in here, I really have. And then this, absolute utter frustration, is a pond where I've had yet another drum filter go down. This was one, it had a new screen the other day. Got all my best Oase in it, and as soon as we changed the screen, the motor decided to pack up. And then this, oh wowzers, this, the Sakai, my top NND DKs from last year. Got the shade out over this now as well. It's about 50% at pond covered, which has been, their behaviour's been a lot better since. Really has. There we go. I think that's enough for today. If my 2-inch pipe, that was supposed to be here today, but if my 2-inch pipe arrives tomorrow, I'm going to be getting those, maybe 1 or 2 of those running. Hopefully the media is turning up as well. And then the first one, we just attempted to go and do this actually, but this was crazy what happened. The boot uncoupled or something went wrong. The pump went in a spin and actually smashed all the pipework and everything to pieces. Nuts. So all being well, if we've still got the cage, that one will just be a quick in. All the media and everything's in there. We can get that running again in there and then change focus to the new ones. Back for another day. Hopefully the 2-inch pipe work is arriving today. Going to get some showers commissioned. It might even be so lucky as we will get the what's the word, media, the media turn on. We can have a chat about that as well, which will be pretty cool.
There's a couple of ponds where I just need to have a bit of a size check against some records that I've got, just see how they're progressing. I don't like interfering too much in there, but every now and often just to grab 1 or 2 fish quickly, see where they're at, see if they're on schedule. Doesn't hurt, and just obviously keeps me really in the loop with what bits are going on. So we'll get that done, and then maybe a bit of other plumbing on this pond 28 I spoke about yesterday. I'd like to get that ticked off the list for this week. I've decided we'll go for that before I go and start plumbing the centralised air and water system in the other one. I've got a bit of work, admin work to get done this morning as well. That's always pretty depressing, isn't it? But yeah, one of the ponds literally in front of me now, just flip it around, the Sakai fish is where I want to have a quick size check. We actually fully documented sizes and weights of these beforehand. I'm only going to check in on size. We'll do weights at the end of the year, but I can tell visually they seem to be doing well. I'm just curious to see how well they've been doing.
So obviously I shared those last night, but really do look like they're stonking on a few of them, to be fair. So the first ones I'm just having a little check over are these Doitsu Ginrin Kumonryus from Takatatsu and the Showas I've featured on the channel already. Oh, we may well have seen. And it has officially happened. The Doitsu Ginrins, as I anticipated, have massively taken over the Showas. This pond, I think, has got around 75 or 80 fish in it, one of the 1,200 gallons. See them all there. Look, they've just been quietly going around the business, about the business, but my goodness, I must say, slabbing it on now, and I mean there, we're up to about 35 cm. That's pretty bonkers. That is starting to look rather special. Even in the heat, when you get sumi progressing like that, when it's as warm and the UV's as tense as it is, I'm always get excited. And we're probably, it's a full-bodied Doitsu Ginrin Aragoke, look. That's probably around the same. Yeah, getting on for 35 cm. So Showas officially lagging behind. Crikey, about sort of 28 there. Does, however, look very nice, I must say. Benny is, as I hoped, actually toning up on them. So all round good progress. Actually, what I've just taken from that, however, let me just turn the pump off. Is that, in all reality, oh, I can see another absolute banger over. Man, there's a few of them. I'm impressed with how that sumi's doing. In all reality, that's probably ready for a thin out, and more than anything, I think we're ready. I need to come up with some plan for the Showa there, I think, because that is now hampering them. That's done a full 360 from the Showa being dominant, too big, to where we're at now. It's completely flipped, and the Doitsu Ginrins are hampering them. That's quite clear to see, look, when you look at them. And obviously see that in there, it's night and day. Well, the quality's looking good. So I think I've got a bit of capacity to maybe work around that, but I'm just going to let it mull over in the back of my mind. But my goodness, the colour of them Showas, I couldn't help but just grab that. Honestly, when these things come good, with that combination of the Doitsu Ginrin scattered amongst them as well. This one's got the metallic head at the same time. Crikey. Imagine that when the sumi actually properly consolidates and gets its proper thickness. There's elements of it, look, reaching that level, but wow.
Oh, delivery time. Admin's took far too long today. However, given how hot it is, it's been quite nice to be in the office. But there's now a delivery here. I'm guessing this is my filter media because my pipe's still not turned up. So it could get interesting for you guys.
Oh, it's me filter media. Look, just brushes. There you go. End of video. No, brushes are one part of it. If you are observant, you might. They're a very distinctive colour from a very distinctive brand. The rest, Well, we'll have to wait and see if that turns into a day job, today job, or tomorrow. If I'd had my 2-inch pipe, it would have been a definite today job. And very carefully, I'm actually going to end up showing this stuff up front, which I'm not a fan of, but I think it makes for interesting content for you guys, even though I don't love it. And I'm going to say it now, and I'll say it again. This is not an upfront endorsement of this product. So I bought this with my own money. It was interesting, it's done. But please, off the back of seeing this, whether it's today, tomorrow, or another video this week, don't just go out rushing, buying it, unless you're just wanting to give it a go. I need time to figure out if this stuff is worth the money. For now, however, as far as filter brushes go, they look damn sexy. So they are destined for my new filter. That I will do today, that's for sure. So now, as far as filter brushes go, they are one of the best I've seen. The surface in that right there for catching shit is fantastic. So look at that, look, love it. And get them ripped out of there. So ultimately we're going to have a more compact structure with these. Should make that even more efficient, and that's been fantastic. I'm just going to catch it, look, that's already been diluted. That is 1 day's worth of shit that's trapped and caught, having just wafted the brushes off. Took me 2 minutes. It's cleared through now, look, so I leave the pump running while it's empty. Just allows it all to flush through. Look how that's worked, dreamy. And to think this, well, to see for sure it's going to be more efficient. So yes, different size brush completely. A little bit taller, look, which is what I wanted, a little bit higher. But you can just see the difference. I mean, the difference in feel here is unbelievable. But the density, look, compared to that, night and day. So therein, that is, you can debate all day long how you want to do this. That allows for kind of good water flow around the brushes. It ain't working for me, however. I don't want this to the point, if they get blocked enough that I can't get water through there, then obviously it's too dirty already. So what's happening is, obviously with these gaps, it's allowing too much particles to come up through it. So I am going to put one more row in there, really compact that up. Look at the difference. I'll snap back to it in a minute when I've done it, but you can see there straight away. So I've got a real full blockade trying to pass through there to catch the maximum amount of crap. See, look at the difference there. A full screen now to pass through. However, I've still got a space. And I think, in all reality, for how I like to run it, I'm just going to have a play around readjusting, but I'm more than likely going to shove another 3 brushes in there. Actually, look, little bit of readjustment, and it's actually nailed it. I am very happy with that. So look there, obviously a couple of little gaps where it parts, but generally I've got a solid blockade there as that passes up through it. Really not going to be too much getting through that lot. There's a huge, I mean a huge surface area there for shit collection. Crazy. Very, very happy with those. And look at that. Yes, I really am that sad. That's how I get my kicks. Anyway, got a bit of fish work to do now, prepping some stock up, bit of a pond to sort through. We need wholesale stuff. The guys on WhatsApp are waiting. Wicked back to Coda again. There's a few bits in there for my grow on, so let's go and have a look at them, get that done, and see if we can get to play around with some media at the end. Forgot to get my camera out as well then, but this is what I'm working with, guys. Lovely net full of Coda, all sorts. It really is. You see, I've got a few nets for all the different splits I need to do, and into the pond now goes back the stash. I've got nowhere else to put them right now. They might end up being a winter grow on, or when I've eventually got a growing pond free, they'll go into. Might even use them to test out the new system. But this guy's fish really are fantastic. There's so much stuff. I mean, look at that. Doitsu, Ginrin, Aragoki, Goshki. You've got Doitsu Ginrin Goshkis, these Ginrin Tancho Showas. Got Goshki Showas in there, it's just nuts. And over in here, in fact, I'll share a couple. I'll just grab a thing, I don't like doing this, but to show you, actually in here is one of my Goldfish collections as well. Some crazy bits I've got growing on. It's the Shishi Dama from Saito. Those Tamasaba crossed with Oranda. And then some Coda from an earlier batch I've been raising, but it'll just give you an idea really how they go from that over there to this. And just before I do that, I'm actually quite shocked to see, look, that's been 2 days since we put that extra K1 in, and it's already all fully buoyant, apart from that little cluster there, which will probably be sunk tomorrow now, I should imagine. That's pretty mad, with the air blasting through it. Obviously it's helped force the air out the middle of the media and get that water in there and get its buoyancy. So happy days with that. And on it goes. That's all that extra capacity, and with the high feed in there, that is going to be growing additional biofilm in no time whatsoever. But there you go guys, no faff, no PP in, messing around. 2 days, it's all sunk. I mean, the movement of the other moving beds no doubt going to have helped, but just goes to show. There you are, look, we aren't stressing too many of them out. The huge difference there, obviously. Yes, the size variation. We're up to like 23 cm and chunky. That beast there up to about 28. Can show us no doubt roughly the same. Yeah, look at them, I mean, power in them bodies. They just, you know, need time, the conditions, you slowly work them through, but they really do come amazing fish. That couple of them look a bit weighty right now because they're literally on the food. They've got a stomach full of it, hence why I don't like prattling around too much. But yeah, going to be, there's a pretty awesome collection of fish in there overall. And now I'm going to show you one of them weapons of goldfish I've got, which will going to please half of you and make half of you feel sick, no doubt. Look at that, absolute beast. So these are growing through to Sansai now, 3 years old. They've just got that softer head look like an Oranda, the Wen. Absolute growing like Trojans at the minute, it's ridiculous. See if I can quickly see another. There's one in here that's got the craziest Wen on its head. Just in case that one, the pattern wasn't the most elegant on that one, although the form was strong. But this one, they've all got the longer tails generally. This one is beautiful. I mean, that is koi level, koaku pattern. It's amazing. See that softer, more jellied head again though, look. And yes, I did say one of my goldfish collections. I think I've got them currently spread across 5 ponds. That's all.
I've got to say, having seen how well, it doesn't look like it's actually flowing any different in that Nexus with that media now having doubled in capacity. I am tempted to try and take that all the way up to the 200, because that, I mean, I've literally fourfolded the biological capacity at that point from where it was at. So I might, now that's sunk, tomorrow even, I might slit another sack into there, because I've still got some in the shed. I think that'll be well worth doing. I'm gonna get back to this selection now though.
Oh, the delivery I've been waiting for is here. 2-inch pipe, time to get some showers running. It is 3:15, we've got a decent bit of time. Lads are getting very busy, prepped. I have been very busy prepping. God, my English is getting shocking. It's about as bad as my Japanese now, it's all going downhill. Anyway, that's all good. And what I need to do, you may remember on an old video, I bought a big boy pump and we never got it installed. So, oh, right there is a very battered up control box. Now I just need to dig the pump out. Here it is, Lord. I'm sure you can all remember that. Aquamax Eco Expert 26,000, which will become a variable speed control as soon as it's plugged in to that box, and I've got the perfect pond lined up for it.
Right, I've been really busy flogging some fish on WhatsApp, and in the meantime Matty has made a start in here. Showa has done one of the repairs on the old shower that's beat itself up, and we're now, as you can see, getting. So this very special pond of Toasai down here is now fully rigged up again. That's already full of the old media anyway. It'll have completely dried out, so it'll be recycling back through, but it won't take it long, and that's really going to be kicking in nicely as they get into the depths of the growing. I'll just show you where we've got to with this bit.
So we've actually split them a bit wider, because how he's actually done them this time, he didn't weld the piece on the outside to connect up to the spray bar, which isn't an issue. Actually moving them across has helped level them up a little bit as well, because of the bit of bend we get in the middle. It's been the same with all of them, but they've been running like it for years. But obviously with that one, it levels itself across there. That one, not so much. If it is a problem, we might have to pack them a little bit, depending on how the fitting goes in the top. What we're planning to do, this one is having that beastie Oase system go onto it. They're going to come straight up the middle there. I'm actually already seeing a problem. Matty's missed that one in the spray bar return. So what we'll do is we'll likely turn that to over there, come straight up the middle, and we're going to tee off, plain tee, union each side, straight through to the spray bar end cap. On the end of it, it'll be removable. So obviously if we want to take it out to service the spray bar, we can. And I think he's got his bits of pipe all in there, look. So we need a bit more pipe work to get that done.
Seemingly, I've not thought it all through, and the 2-inch pipe work I've got for the spray bars is actually wrong. It come from a different supplier. It's not the same external diameter, so got to reorder some of that. That doesn't stop us hopefully getting that one done tomorrow. It does. I've not got the plain unions to get that bit done, so we'll get them ordered. That bit will move to Friday. For now, I'm just about to dive into another pond before question time live this evening, just to finish off my day's selling, and then it looks like I'm going to keep you hanging to discover the filter media tomorrow. You might have figured it all out from the brushes already, but you're going to have to keep watching for a bit more to see tomorrow's episode a bit later in this video. My last little job that I've just got back round to is checking up on the Sakai rough sizing. Just going to grab a couple of bits. I think we were up to about 48, sort of 50 at the very top end. I think average was around 48, so let's have a look. I know looking at them, they're getting incredibly weighty, and they've stuck it on, but let's actually see how far they've got.
Wow, that one's made me happy. 57 going on 58, that one. Honestly, right, the type of sumi this has, I love the simplicity of it. Look, and how all that sumi sits. Get ready for this in the winter. But my God, the body volume gains. I think the thing I love, that body, I mean, it just screams, absolutely screams Sakai. Look at that fucking skin. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Honestly, guys, remember it. Get ready for it. There's a fucking Sankey here in the making. Well on course for where I want to be with them as well. Oh, it'd be rude not to check one of them shoddy males that's in there as well, wouldn't it? I mean, wowzers. So that one's up to 53, and I think I remember this being at 45, so the growth's really in line. Powering up as well, that body, isn't it? Look at the skin quality level and that head body. Oh, Sakai, it's just dreamy.
So that I am delighted with. End of year, as in end of calendar year, because that's when I've got them set out for. We was a bit late at getting started, if you remember. I want to be, because there's males in there that were a bit smaller, 63 to sort of 68 cm. I'd like to think we can maybe get a couple closer to 70 for Sansai. Remember, I got those all around 12 to 14 cm, I think, when they arrived. Oh my word, imagine that lot at that size by that time. I might have to lose a couple by then, but wow, nice way to end that day. I'm going to go and just have 5 minutes before we get on to question time live, and we'll see what adventures tomorrow brings. Got a bit of a different start to today's video. I'm actually up on top of kids climbing frame up here at a minute, because I'm led to believe they've been decommissioning this local power station, and I'm led to believe in a few minutes they're going to be dropping all 8 of them towers, which is going to be a bit lively. So all the locals, everyone else, all out on the roads, whatnot. Let's wait and see. There we go, we're on big countdown, folks. We've got about 10 seconds off. They're normally pretty prompt with it. It's going to be end of an era for that one. Going to go with a bang. Wow. That's crazy. For some reason my heart's racing, don't know why. Anyway, there we go. I'll not get all political, but they've clearly got a bigger plan. We're back for another day. So unfortunately, I am pipework short. I need to nip to a local shop and pick a couple of bits up so we can get that Bertha pump running on these couple of showers we've got lined up. Try and get that done in today. Then hopefully EA's dropping the pipework off tomorrow to actually crack on and get the rest done, which will be great. So on that subject, in a moment, we're going to have a look at the media I'm planning on giving a go. I'll talk you through what it is I'm planning on doing. Just as I'm walking through here, however, this pond that I'm growing big Nisai and some Sansai through to Sansai and Yonsai, all of a sudden I'm staring at it. I know they're growing well. It's getting a bit much. Because I walk down then, physically, this is how I do a lot of the stocking levels, it just looks too full, a little bit wall to wall. I think there's a few pieces in there that I'm not so happy with. I'm going to pretend, I think there's 22 fish, 21 or 22, I'll double check it again. I'd like to get that down to about 18 now. So I think we're going to get the feeder off. No, I'm not yet, I've not got a pond ready, but as soon as I have, it's time to get harsh and kick a few of those out, I think. Other than that, let's have a look at my filter media. Just while I'm down here, this is the corn pond that I'm battling UV issues with. I think we're on top of it again, but executive decision, rather than put Bertha on that pond, I'm going to put it on this pond with the corn to really help me along on getting to my 60 cm Nisai collection target, hopefully a bit quicker. So that's the first one we're going to rig out with that pump. I've got the spray bar designed to look at, and then the media. So let's go and have a look. So if you didn't already guess it from yesterday, I am trying the mountain tree lotus root bacteria house third generation one. Now, having looked at this, the whole concept, seeing it, reading the surface area quotations, if they are legit, and I do question it, one piece of this stuff in comparison to the amount of K1 needed is ridiculous. I do question it, however, because it seems so mental, but I came to the conclusion I'm not going to need absolute heaps of this stuff. And by the way, it's not the most impressively packaged filter media you've ever seen. So yeah, obviously it's substantially more expensive than the Nishikigoi bacteria home stuff, but it looks a different level, even just looking at a piece side by side to that stuff. So on everything I've seen, I thought well worth giving it a go, and obviously having calculated the prices and absolutely shat my pants for a minute, and then just realised, look, if this, obviously with the performance level it's got, I shouldn't need as much. So pretty much with my mentality like the food,
Sakai, it's kind of like false economy to go doubling up on the other stuff when with half the amount you possibly get more efficiency. So I'm not going to delve into it. You can read their website, and they've got videos on their own YouTube channel about all this. What I will do quickly, I did unwrap this one, is show you a piece. There we go, look. So you keep this protective wrapper on. This will actually also add to the surface area. That will grow bacteria on it, that piece of plastic netting. That's the structure. You see it's got the slotted structure in it, and it is incredibly porous. I've seen this soak water up unbelievably well. So I'm going to take this box in now and show you how I plan on lining it up from what I've calculated. Hopefully that all goes well. And down here, I can't get into it, I'm going to have to wait till Jake has moved it all, is the spiral mat that they've created as well, because they recommend, I was curious to see it, and actually in some of the showers I'm just going to use this spiral mat alone, banked up in there. But in the ones where I'm using this stuff, I'm going to, as they actually recommend, put the matting on top of the media to protect the biofilm so the water's not hitting it too heavily, but also then, you know, distribute the flow pattern across the media to balance it even more. So you can just have a quick look. That's the internal structure of the shower. You can see, look, all the thickest grade material. You'll recognize that pattern from somewhere. It's the one for the 2-inch with the 2-inch spray bar mounted in. Now these ones would have the ability to go 2 layers deep with the matting. This one is just going to get the single layer with the matting, and my calculations weren't perfectly correct. I was planning on going for 3 and 1 at each end. I've actually managed to get 4 and 1 at each end, and look at that. I'm buzzing for that. So yeah, I just need to get a couple more bits in there, which will mean I'll need to order a bit more to finish it, but that's a dreamy fit. And honestly, from if the calculations and what marketing they put forward is anywhere near true on the available surface area, by the time this and that is loaded up, wow, it's going to be Feed City. One of the other things I do like is that because of the materials it's made from, they actually say that this will release some of the minerals from within it into the water constantly over about a 2-year period, which I like because I am constantly draining the life out of that water with what I do. So that's another plus. I will, however, state again as I go to fetch some more media, however, right now this is not, I'm not endorsing this. I'm trying it, I am sharing it with you as I go along, and I'll give you constant feedback. Please don't go buying this off the back of me doing this right now. If you're out there and you're undecided and you just want to give it a go, feel free, but please don't do it, because I've had nowhere near enough time to test it. Realistically, I'll need 12 months before I pass any sort of judgment, although I might get some early signs if it is particularly special. I just can't keep stressing that enough though. There you have it, that's the final lineup. 14 pieces of the stuff in there, and that's going to be now times 3, because obviously it's 40 a shower, with the ability for those to go double layered if I wanted them to. Top layer, I am actually just going to put some of the spiral mat in here as well. It varies shower to shower what I tend to do. Look, jump up on here, that one I've actually got media in. That spray bar needs re-drilling as well, because there's too much, the holes weren't drilled well enough, so I'm not happy with that one. And then others, not sure which now, like that one, I just run empty. Obviously get the just the splashing effect, help with a bit of degassing and oxygenation. I'll tell you what though, I can't wait to see that pump in action.
So the very last thing I've got to do with that now is get all that out, rinse it. It does recommend rinsing it as well before we actually put it in there to get it running, and obviously I'll rinse all the other stuff before I put it in there as well. But hey, it'd be amazing, obviously, if it does perform anywhere near what they're kind of claiming. And it will be nice because I will see direct comparisons in here with the other medias that I've got running. So let's wait and see. Time's going to tell with that one. So my next little job for the new system, I can't share too much on right now, is a bit I can share is upgrading this because I need some more clout. So I can't remember, I think these are 6000s, we'll know when we rip it off. Pump feeding off of a 1.5" bottom drain. So I'm going to sight, the new pump's too big, I'm going to sight that down here. I need a clean break on it. So obviously I've got to come off here, I'm going to gather all my fittings now. It's the 13,000 I'm putting on, it's a fucking beast in comparison. One of the new generation Aquamaxes as well, which is, their performance is insane. So I'm going to start with that bit step by step, because at least then I can get the old system back online from there, and then after that look at the rest of it. So there it is, stripped down, the Aquamax Eco Premium 13,000, absolute beast. This runs its maximum 100 watts, that's it, and it's got a maximum head height of 5 meters. And you know with Oase, if they're quoting them kind of numbers, they're going to deliver it. It's got that seasonal flow control on the side as well. I'm led to believe you can make these variable with the controller that you can buy separately. Don't hold me to that, but I'm sure that's how it's all set up. So I'm going to go and grab a box of fittings now that I need to get that done and actually get it done. Right, I've snuck into aircon, so I need to get, and I already think I'm a couple of reducers short already. I've ordered the sleeves, I think, to reduce down back to, because I'm on 1.5" solvent waste, which is unfortunate, but it's what's there. I'm not fucking around changing all that. So that's 2-inch union, plain female to threaded female is going to get me on there. Then I'll use a bush to step down onto solvent pipe. Then I need to reduce. I might have to put that on my list of little bits to get, and then just I'm going to need a valve to control the outward flow, and yeah, a few other bits and bobs out of there. So better tip that out and have a look. So there's my sleeves straight away, look, and they will slot in, glue in, and now they are onto solvent waste pipe, ready for the reducers that I clearly don't have. A load of this in here is for uprating my spray bars and just loads of elbows and shit that you need to have when you're doing this thing, so you got it on hand. A couple of rubber boots there, I can't remember what I ordered them for. I feel like it would have been this job, in fact I think it was coming off of there, but I'll just retrace my steps on that one and sketch it out first. Now I have got a couple of boots. Now boots are handy, I must say. I do prefer to get the pipe work done properly, because we're talking obviously a huge footprint there versus a little reducer that'll slot straight in that. So probably not going to stick with that, because I am needing to nip out anyway and pick these couple of fittings up. If they've got the other reducers where I'm heading, then that'll be probably the route I go with there, and obviously keep it all as compact as possible. In amongst me doing that, lads are busy packing. Jacob, you're going to be YouTube famous now, pal. How do you feel? Oh, you're gone all shy. You've gone very red, pal. How many boxes today, Matt?
Too many.
You look very hot and bothered, mate. But as,
down, few more to go yet.
as you can see, look, they are bang at it. And it's warm. They'll get shifted into office in aircon very shortly. Other than that, the kids have just been having a play in there. It was all washed clean with fresh water. So they're living life. Cole's down there in between, busy doing his selling, and I'm about to nip off and get these fittings that I need. Here we go, look. Big Bertha's all wired. Matty's got the plug on. See the control unit. All set, but that, I can't wait to see that fire water out. It's going to be hilarious. Pumps it up to the sky pretty much. I got fed up with planning. I'm a man of action, so fuck it. I just went and cut that off. Got my boot on there, look, so that's just going to be a simple 90-90 Bosch into that, and I'll have to rebuild off there. Just got to lift that pipe out and cut that, but shouldn't be too long, and I can get that wired and running. That's phase 1 on that bit. Let's see, I've got them fully reduced down to 1.5" solvent now. Got the bush and then the reducer.
sat in. Just a little hack for you. If you're using 1.5" solvent waste in rubber boots, anytime you go into one of them sockets, although that will clamp down securely, it's a lot slicker to use a straight on there. It just gets it it's just a much better connection overall. There you go, look, that's a much nicer fit and just better fitting all around. Well worth it for the price of a straight. There we go, that's the first bit all in dry. I'm just going to go and demount the other bit from the other side, hack that WS32 off there, top right, put that back and rebuild from there onto the outlet. All in dry now, happy days. I'm going to start marking up, tighten my boot up and get gluing. That's all glued in, happy days. Lads got it wired in already, they keep me well away from electrics. So I'm just going to let that dry a minute. I'll show you where we've got to with Big Bertha. I have just found out, annoyingly, the drum filter box hasn't got the additional socket on it that all the others have for some reason. So I'm just going to run an extension lead in to test that, make sure we put all the gibbons into the pump right. I've had a rethink around the spray bar idea as well, but let's check on this bit first. Oh, it does look like carnage in here, doesn't it? So, one of the issues we are having is how they got done. We're looking a bit tight on space for getting the union either side of that T-piece, which I'm just having a rethink on. Media is all washed, waiting, and as you can see, we've got the controller for the pump. The pump's in, so I'm just going to run an extension lead in now and have a look at that one. Are you ready for this? I've just capped that end off, so it will actually come straight, full whack. 100% speed, boom! That's not fucking about, is it? Wow! That must be torrenting out of there. Let's go and have a look at the outlet. Holy shit, that's moving some water. Oh, that's wild. Absolutely wild. So, my thinking, my plan, obviously spray bars, not the most efficient of things, creating back pressure. This tray is the exact same design as my filter system you've probably seen out there, the drip tray on that shower now already, even just blasting out of there. You see I'm getting flow down this way now, it's not great. However, if I I'm not sure it'll work with a T, I can look at a T and a T and cap it off on that end, or even potentially what I think might be the one is just to stick a 90 on there pointing down. I reckon with that just hitting against there, it's going to create a perfect spread, and I'm going to put no back pressure on the pump. Of course, I mean, let's face it, I'm going to get that insane flow then. Look at that. That is mental. I think before I drill anything, I'm going to go with that first. It'll also help me out with my problem with disconnecting it, because I can actually mount the union in here then for uncoupling if needs be. But in reality, the need to ever uncouple it with that sort of design is going to be quite rare. And then out here you can see that is the top of the shower with the foams. Been cleaned once this week. Now this pond's on a feeder as well, and we'll talk more about that at some point. But this is, what is this, 4 days? Quite impressive. But that's the flow now. That's that new Aquamax Eco really going well. We do have a spray bar just mounting here. Which I'll leave that on for now. See, it comes out at all angles, but trust me, the flow on that is a hell of a lot more than where it's at. So it was actually an 8,000 I took off, so we've got quite an uplift, and these things have obviously got better performance overall, so I'm happy with that right now, and this bit of development can get on to the next stage tomorrow. There you go, so pipe works all dry on that one out there, fantastic. What more to say? I think overall that's been a great day, a great push forward.
There's a lot less packing to do tomorrow, so I'll have a few more hands available to hopefully get in here and get the rest of them shower pumps on and get them running. And if I get enough time, that system I've just worked on, actually get that all in place as well. What an amazing week that would be.
Tell you what, right now I've got a couple, I'll show you a couple of bits I'm playing with. I think I'm definitely going with this idea. I've just got to decide on my preferred distribution up top. So I've not got anything from that T-piece glued. I mean, look at how that water is oofing out of there. It really is, and you can actually see, in regardless of what we see at the top, underneath the flow's really well balanced. Obviously it will kind of sort itself out more and more, but at the minute I've just got that gushing out. See, obviously it does favour that side, although it's still getting a substantial flow that side. It's just that mental. And then on this side I've just thrown a T-piece on the end, although it still could do with coming a bit further over. And I would say instantly that's more balanced, certainly if I get that moved over. But either way, you're down at the bottom, it looks good. So I'll have a play around. I'm going to get the pipes kind of cut more where I want them and see where we go. That's it, I've officially found the one. That's going to be a wrap for today. That's also going to need some more pipe work. Double 2-inch T, end cap there. Look at that, look. It's in both the right places. Pretty much equal build up both ends. By the time it hits that tray as well, it's all getting serviced well with water. And that is just going to alleviate the need for any back pressure now. The flow on that will change because even still there, look, I've got the open-ended 2-inch. So as soon as I cap that up this end, obviously I'll create a bit more back pressure and probably force even more out of them T's. But great splash in there for the helping with the you know, gassing off and all the rest of it. That's the one. Happy days, and that should allow me as well. Last bit, I'll get my... I'm actually chatting. No, I'm not chatting shit there. Union's gonna have to be there, so at least I can disconnect and take this part out. Although I'm really not seeing need. It's been a long day. I'm gonna sleep on that one, but for now I am buzzing for that.
It's another day, ladies and gents. Have you had enough for me yet? See what we get done tomorrow. I'm delighted with that. It's 5 to 7. Matthew's about to start an auction over on the WhatsApp group. Yeah, mega. Team's firing on all cylinders. This is why, though, you see, we need, especially with this operation, it's important to have that team behind it, because we just couldn't, the level, you know, of just everything we put out to service you guys. Even when we're doing WhatsApp stuff, you know, you see these fish fly out, and at the end of it, you know, we might have sold 15 or 20 fish, for example. Not forget, that one WhatsApp group alone's got about 840 people in it. It's mad numbers. So it's amazing. I'm very grateful to you all for it. For now, however, I'm going to have a nice cold glass of water, sit in office for 5. If I've got the bits, I'll likely put the other tea on that side and get back to that in the morning. Friday's here. Actually already afternoon. It's been too chaotic this morning to get anything recorded. However, I've nailed my water distribution in the top of the shower. I'm going to share that with you. And right now, I'm about to get the media all laid in that set. About to show you the spiral mat. We'll have a quick look at that. I'll get it cut, media laid out, and then I'll show you exactly what I've done. Absolutely perfect. Equal balance distribution, plus no back pressure. Oh, and no maintenance. That's the most important bit. So I must say, very impressed with the packaging. Again, big effort for filter media, but the mat,
I wish you could feel that. I mean, the colour is just immense, and not that really matters. But yeah, that's interesting stuff, I've got to say. See how it's going to cut. I mean, I don't think that's going to be easy. I'll probably try it axle's best I've got. We'll see. But yeah, first glance, I mean, it's got some mass structural integrity. I can see that lasting a long time, that's for sure. And obviously performance, I mean, there's just vast surface area, but we know this from Jack Matting. Obviously it's a media been used biologically for ages. This is kind of advertised as being both, easy to rinse. I can see that it's kind of open structured enough that it should rinse through well. Let's see. Again, I'm going to give you the disclaimer. I'm not recommending this at this minute in time. I'm simply trying it and just sharing it with you as I go along. And boom! Look at that. Now I've just literally hacked it to pieces with an hacksaw. I'm sure there'll be better ways. I am not a man for DIY and tools. I literally only just bought a few tools the other day. Other than that, I've been proud of about 2 screwdrivers. However, couldn't quite get that one in one sheet. I will continue this now because they've all got that same bar setup look. So it's in 2 pieces. Just get out. Magic. Nice snug fit under there, that one as well. Happy days. I did wonder where my math had gone wrong when I did that bottom tray, because I had calculated we'd want 11 pieces because I couldn't quite get 4 wide. However, obviously the bottom tray is wider, so as I've come up, that's now the layout. So it's 11 pieces each tray. Gonna be 1 more on top of that. So what are we up to there? Oh, nearly falling off then. I can't remember how many I put. 4, 8, 12, 14. Jesus Christ, it's adding up, innit? It really is. 14 on the bottom, if I remember right. That was it, weren't it? 4, 8, 12, 13, 14. And then, oh God, I'm up. We've got 11 in here, so 25 so far. Obviously, we're going to get up to 36 pieces of that, plus the matting. The capacity in these things, if that's anywhere near where it quotes, it's just going to be madness. Not forgetting, if I want to, I could layer that up another one or have a play around with it in general, but I'm happy with that at the moment.
And it's rather hot in here again today. Fucking hell. That's going to be 36, and not forgetting I'm doubling up and going again on the other side as well. Wowzers. We're going to have a look at the end of it. We'll look at that capacity. We will look at how this transforms turnover and all the rest of it. For now, get this matting in and get this finished up.
You see, I have a bit more wiggle room with these. Cut that well. Fantastic. Look at that. Happy days. So, plan being, the top tray, that one over there, I'm going to leave empty. So it'll be empty like that one, because that in itself is a fantastic trickle tray. I have no need to muck around with it. So the next tray is potentially the one that will start catching most of the waste, and I suspect this one and the next one down should stay relatively clean. We will see, time will tell with that one. But they will act between them mechanically, biologically. Obviously, the less waste within the matting, the better the biological performance will be. Obviously, I'm relying on the media underneath for that primarily, but every little helps. Oh, it's fractions, look. Tell you what, I'm going to make sure I cut on the inside of that line. So that top one, I'm not going to waste that. That'll have been 1 sheet per shower then. So top one might be a little bit thin, but it's not going to be a problem. Like I say, it's where the water is going to be hitting, it's going to be doing its job anyway. No need to worry.
I've just been a bit dim on that last one. It's 3 sheets I need, so I'm not putting one in top one. Anyway, I've got one started for next tray, so happy days.
So my design has ended up being this. Everything externally here is all glued. That is cut to there. This straight connector is not glued either side. So it allows me to detach and take them top tiers out with ease. The union option, it just wasn't checking out in any proper way, so that's how we're working. Then we've just got the T-piece, you can see there, working both ways. So obviously it's hitting downwards, it's firing out the end nicely, but what it's doing is creating perfect balance of water across all that. So we've got flows kind of hitting each other here. You see, look, we get a decent build up of water there coming back and there. And using equal T's, it's all really well balanced, both sides. I'm over the moon with that. No nozzles to clog, fantastic. No back pressure on the pump, amazing. All it's got to contend with is the head height there. I think that's superb. And then down here, I don't know if I showed that yesterday, that's the simple control box for the pump. We've got on and off, you see. Boom, and then the speed control is a simple. Just having a go with that, look. Right down a minute, it's not even a bad flow there, is it? About 48% at both sides. But I don't want that. If we're running it, we're running it. It's there as an option. Crank that all the way back up now, look. 100%, happy days. That's what we've got thundering out. So that one's done. I'm going to get young Jacob in to finish that side because I've got some grown-up work, aka office work, to go and do. Plus I want to get out of here because it's fucking had enough of it sweltering. Although that has been good fun, so I'm going to get him to maybe even get the mat cut. I don't know if I can trust him not to cut all his fingers off. But other than that, he can certainly get all the media washed and prepped and sighted. Happy days, and then it's going to be a case of seeing what we can do. This water is partially green at the moment because of a UV issue, but I will soon. It's the fish behaviour is going to tell me, that's for sure. But it'd be good to get the water clear to see what impact it actually has on the water. But I'll know primarily from that feeding behaviour. Yeah, look, I've handed it off now to a more experienced man. Mat cutting factory. It's a substantially neater edge as well, which is nice. Look at this, look, dream team at work. We're firing. Friday madness in Fish House. Look how they're coming on, look. I mean, they even look big. Big on there. So, that one's kind of done. Electricity wise, I have an issue because we're just running off a lead at the minute because the box that normally has a spare socket on, that one for some reason doesn't, which is frustrating. But my Sparky's on site at a minute and he's come to do, we're doing a load of rewiring in the new fish house to get everything from behind the ponds to the front, and then putting some spare sockets scattered all over the place, so that'll get dealt with on that. But for now, for that job, it's amazing. These next ones are going to run the EA Veriflow 30,000s with the same setup, so we'll be able to see just visually if there's much difference in performance. There should be from the spec charts because the head height on this Aquamax is way bigger than that, so I expect obviously better performance at that head level, head to head, but we'll wait and see visually just what that looks like anyway. While I have a potter around on the system I installed the pump for yesterday, I'm not allowed to share with you yet. I've decided while the weekend's here, I'm going to stick, because the impact that extra 50 litres has had on that pond already is unbelievable. So I'm going to get another 50 stuck in, and by Monday, based on how the last one went, I reckon that should be buoyant and absolutely flying. So my parting clip, it's been a hell of a hectic week. We didn't accomplish anywhere near as much as I hoped. However, we're not disheartened because we have got a lot done. I think it's good to set your sights high and see where you end up, because you probably push it further than you might have done anyway. Showers running, operational, stacked with media. and the fish are starting to absolutely love it. We've got the pond outside all geared up, ready for the installation, and we've got everything laid in here already to get the rest of the showers running into next week as well. So I'm very happy with all the little bits we've got done. The fluid bed's working an absolute dream in the new filter. Happy days, and I hope you've enjoyed this version where we've stitched it all together and get you the 1 week in one hit. Let me know in the comments if you prefer it, or if you prefer them coming throughout the week like we normally do. Thanks for watching.